whatever the sport, we love the debate. Who is the greatest of all time? Now, before November 4th, 2018, Aaron Rodgers, who is 34, had never played a game of football at Foxborough, and tonight will be the last time he and Tom Brady face each other at this stadium, potentially for the last time. Now, both wear number 12, but after that, the numbers differ somewhat. Brady is 27-10 in the postseason. Rodgers is 10-7. Brady's won 5 championships, and Rodgers just the one. But why do we ask who is the greatest of all time? If no one person can settle the argument, why do we have it in the first place? And are we enjoying the greatest players enough?
I've talked a lot in the last week or so about how ridiculous it is that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are only going to meet each other twice. It's really ridiculous. The NFL needs to fix its schedule. But having said that, it's like when you were a kid, if you just were able to do like the biggest thing in your life once or twice. And so now I think everybody just needs to really appreciate this moment, because it's probably never going to happen again. And clearly these two guys will go down as 2 of the 10 best quarterbacks of all time. How high Aaron Rodgers will go, we'll see. He's still got 4 or 5 years to go in his prime, but it's going to be a great night.
Do you remember when football's version of the greatest football player of all time began?
I mean, if we're talking about Tom Brady, I mean, no one saw that coming in 2001 when he started. And it's really amazing when you think about it, Max, that if you think about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I mean, I've made this point to a lot of people who have said, oh my God, Belichick and Brady, they might not be getting along the way they used to and all that. Probably the best quarterback-coach combination that I've seen in my life is Bill Walsh and Joe Montana with the 49ers. That lasted 10 years. This is the 18th year that Belichick and Brady, that Brady has been starting for Belichick, and really the 19th year they've been together, because the year he was drafted, 2000, he didn't play. But it's just amazing that someone can last that long with the same coach and produce at the same high level of achievement. I mean, it's something that we can all live a lot longer, and I don't think we're ever going to see it.
Rodgers, of course!
Rodgers for life, man!
We got 5. Same, if not more. He's got 1. We got 5.
Rodgers!
Brady!
Rodgers!
Brady!
Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT because he's going to win this game. Otherwise, Brady's got him. Sorry. Love you, Rodgers.
Do fans enjoy it enough, or are we too busy debating greatest of all time?
That's a great question. I don't know how anybody can say this guy is the best or that guy is the best. I'd probably call Brady the best because I think he's combined performance with winning championships. He's won 5. He's been to 3 other Super Bowls and lost. He's the only quarterback playing now who's gone 16-0 in the regular season. So, I mean, I feel fine calling him the best. But if somebody wanted to say somebody else is the best, I mean, have at it. It's a great argument to have. And I don't think there's any hard and fast answer. The one thing I always tell people is, please remember history. The NFL is 99 years old. It didn't just start 20 or 25 years ago. And so that's why I say, remember a guy named Otto Graham. Otto Graham played 10 years of professional football, 1946 to 1955. And at the time, careers really weren't that long because he didn't make much money. He could make more money when he retired from football doing something else. And so in those 10 years, he reached the championship game of his league 10 times, and he won 7 of them. And so I just always caution people to say Brady is the best now, and maybe Rodgers will usurp him at some point, but just remember guys like Otto Graham and Sammy Baugh who played a long time ago.
You've mentioned a few non-quarterbacks that should be considered for this status. Who do you think they are?
Well, I think if I'm talking about the best players of all time, there's another old-timer named Don Hudson. He was a receiver for the Green Bay Packers, and he played 11 years. And he was an incredible all-around player. He once led the NFL in interceptions as a defensive back. He was really a great wide receiver, and everybody said, he played so long ago, it couldn't have been that great. Well, just remember this. He ran the 100-yard dash in 9.4 seconds. He won the Southeastern Conference Track Championship 2 years in a row in the 100-yard dash. He had the speed. He had every bit the speed of a Jerry Rice, even though Rice came half century later. And the reason why I tell people to remember Don Hudson is very simple. When he retired, it took over 40 years for people to catch up to his touchdown records, even though way back when in the 30s and 40s, they didn't throw the ball very much. But Don Hudson was such a force that he kind of forced the Green Bay Packers to throw a lot. I think not only him, but I think you'd have to consider Lawrence Taylor, the greatest pass rusher there ever was for the Giants. And there's a lot of guys who were so great at their positions. But I do think that because in an overall sense, the quarterback means so much to his team, that because he means so much to his team, I definitely believe that he should, all things being equal, be considered one of them, be considered the best one ever.
Tom Brady's got 5 championships, Aaron Rodgers 1. I know it's hard to do, but if you take those away, who do you think is the best pure quarterback of the two?
Well, I think when you consider pure quarterback, I think one of the things that you have to measure in today's football is who is more mobile and who's better when the play breaks down. And Aaron Rodgers is so incredibly good when the play breaks down that I think you have to give him credit for that. But I also think that one of the things that you have to understand as, when you analyze football is that quarterbacks make the vast majority of their plays from the pocket. And Tom Brady, I think, under incredible pressure year after year after year, he's only been hurt one time in 2008. Rodgers has been hurt a couple of times to miss multiple games in a year. I think that has to count for something. I'd still give it to Brady, even though I think as an all-around player, just a player, Aaron Rodgers on his best day would have him beat.
The Hail Marys.
That does not make me the GOAT. He has 5 rings. He's the smartest player.
Better career quarterback rating. I mean, sure, Tom Brady's won more games, but Aaron Rodgers is the better player, man. The skills, he does it without the system.
Rodgers never had a good defense.
Last question. Now, you've said do not forget about football history. What was the best era that you've covered?
I think we're in it. Because I truly did enjoy early on when I covered the NFL, and it was much more of a defensive game. I covered the New York Giants in the 1980s, and they were a tremendous defensive team, and there were some very good defensive teams at the time. If you scored 24 points in a game, you had done something truly great. And right now, we're seeing some of the greatest offensive performances ever. Probably we're in the best offensive era in NFL history. One of the reasons why I like that is that people can come into the game and really can stand out very early because so many quarterbacks are being drilled so well in college football and come in more ready to play in pro football. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is an incredible player, and he's had only 1 year in the pro game, to learn and to perfect his craft, and he's playing at the top of his game. Deshaun Watson is. I think there are more extremely good young quarterbacks than any time that I've covered football.
Peter King, thank you for your time.
All right, Max, thank you.
Whoever you believe is the greatest of all time, it's hard to supersede those already anointed. Think Michael Jordan in basketball, Babe Ruth in baseball, and it seems Tom Brady in football. The list is endless though. Who do you think is the greatest football player of all time? Make sure you leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And for the final time in 2018, from Gillette Stadium, it's bye for now.